Hey, what's up guys, YST here and welcome back to another Raid Shadow Legends video. And today we're on the test server and I'm going to be showcasing a 1-to-1 ratio speed tune with the exception of Helicath, who will be at a 4-to-3 ratio that can exceed a 1 key on the Ultra Nightmare clan boss. For the average player and an average team without specific requirements on accessories, you'll be sure to see around 50 to 65 million depending on your gear every single time that you face that void affinity. But this team today is affinity friendly, so don't worry about taking it into spirit, force, or that magic affinities. So if you're excited, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright then, so let's just break down Helicath's skill first. We'll talk about the rest of the champions, the gears, the speed, the masteries, and all of that good stuff. So what makes this champion amazing? With Pyroclastic Claw, can attack one enemy 2 times, and each hit has a 30% chance of placing a 25% weaken debuff for 2 turns, and will ignore shield and block damage buffs. Now, when you're facing the Demon Lord, the only thing that we're focusing on here is that weaken debuff. So then we can coincide it with someone like a Fahrakin the Fat or any other drop defense champion and get the balance of both of them throughout the run. So it's a really nice A1 here that can attack twice. On the Winds of Pit, can attack all enemies and places a shield buff on all allies for 2 turns, and the value of this shield is proportional to this champion's defense. Now in this team today you can see we're using a Vizier Ovelis, which can be swapped by the way, but I'll talk about that later. And then we've got a Doompriest, a Skullcrusher, and a Fahrakin the Fat. You can see there's no other block damage champion or unkillable here. So what the kind of theory behind this team is, we're actually going to survive the hits on that stun turn up to the 50 turn count. You have to have enough defense for this. If you're worrying about that, you can bring in someone like a Warcaster to place that block damage. But I think not having to bring it in for the average player that doesn't have those champions, then yes, I just want to show that it's capable to do it with surviving that stun hit. Now on Devoted Servants, can place a block damage buff on all allies for 2 turns, and whenever the block damage buff placed by an ally by this champion is removed, stolen, or expires, will then replace an increased defense buff on the ally for 2 turns. This is going to really help with amplifying the damage of a Helicath or any defense based nukers that you bring in, so it's not bad at all. Now this is on a 4-turn cooldown, which is why this champion has to be at a 4-to-3 ratio to get those skills up on time. With the Feast of Agony, increase the champion's defense by 5% for each ally under a block damage buff, and counterattacks with the default skill whenever ally is hit whilst under a block damage buff. And this can occur once per enemy turn, which is pretty nice. We then have an aura of 30% in all battles. Once again, I'm always a fan of all battles in this game. So let's just quickly go over the kit here. So we've kind of trying to get as much damage as possible because I want to show the highest potential, and then following down from that, according to your gear, you could just do it according to your accounts. So we've just gone for speed and crit rate, speed, crit rate and crit damage, crit rate on the shield, crit damage on the gauntlets, defense on the chest plate. We could afford to glyph a little bit, but it's not needed. Speed on the boots, then we've got accuracy on the banner, crit damage on the amulet, and defense on the ring. Now I just want to say you don't have to get full crit damage or full crit rate or anything like that to make this work. This team is guaranteed a 2 key. As long as you get the speeds, the masteries, and everything, you're not gonna have a problem. If you start trying to get closer to that 1 key, then you're gonna have to start maximizing damage like you will see today. But this team is full auto. It's pretty nice. Masteries, we've gone for the offense tree, heading down to the War Master of course, and then we've got the defense tree, trying to proc those counterattacks. Heading into champion number 2, let's talk about Vizier Ovelis because he's easily replaceable in this team. Now the main reason we're using him is only the A1 ability. We're blocking off the A2, we're blocking off the A3, we're only using this. So this ability can attack one enemy 3 times, really solid for Giant Slayer procs, and each hit has a 35% chance, bookable up to 50%, of increasing the duration of all debuffs by 1 turn. Now remember, we only have a 50 turn count and we want to keep those debuffs up as much as possible. If you want to replace him, no problem. Bring in another DPS, a poisoner, a burn champion, maybe even a ninja. These are the things that you can kind of bring in for someone like Vizier Ovelis. But it's just really fun to bring him back into the meta and showcase him, right? In a Helicath team. Masteries, we have gone for the Giant Slayer, of course, because we've got that triple hit on the A1 and the defense tree heading down to the counterattack masteries. And the stats that we got here, pretty much just trying to get my speed through substats. We've got crit damage on the gauntlets, attack percent on the chest plate, and attack percent on the boots. We've then got accuracy on the banner, crit damage, and then some attack again. Overall stats, we have got a 31,000 HP, 1.9k defense, 174 speed, 91% crit rate. Remember, we're getting our crit rate increase from our Fahrakin the Fat, so you can't afford to have all of your champions at a 70% if you want to. 247% crit damage and 247 accuracy. I don't think I mentioned Helicaths. Sorry guys. I was so busy talking about his kit. So 44,000 HP, 4.1k defense, 247 speed on Helicath, 100% crit rate, 229% crit damage, and enough accuracy to place those weakened debuffs. Next on the list is going to be a Doompriest, which is also replaceable, but I do highly recommend just for having an easy team, right? If you just care about getting that top chest, Doompriest is going to do a phenomenal job. So pretty much with her, it's mainly for the passive, so heals all allies by 7.5% of their HP and removes one random debuff from them at the start of this champion's turn. Now Helicath, after turn 35 to 40, you'll start to see a bit of a lower HP from those stun hits. And because we haven't got other healers, you want a bit of heal in the team, right? But if you want to go with Helicath with a lifesteal set, you don't have to worry about this because he's going to be healing every single turn, which is going to allow you that 50 turn threshold every single run. But for this run today, Doompriest is in here, getting those cleansers off, keeping us affinity friendly, and also healing our champions, increase attack, occasional crit rate buffs, and a nice little A1 for damage. Masteries, offense down to the War Master, and once again, same kind of deal with the defense tree. Artifacts, just trying to optimize damage. I've actually only put a crit rate on her instead of going crit damage. We just got resistance, who cares? We're just trying to get the speeds, crit damage, and defense on the ring. Overall stats here, we've got nice HP, high enough attack as possible, 100% crit rate, 221% crit damage, 124 accuracy because we don't need it, and 183 speed. So that was my Doompriest, and let's head into the counterattack champion, which I haven't showcased in a while, and that is Skullcrusher. This champion can be replaced from any counterattack champion, alright? And there is two ways in this comp you could use him. I'll discuss both of them once we get into the actual run. So what we're using it for is the ally protection and counterattack buff on all allies for 2 turns. This is remarkable. You can potentially make him your stun target, and then you can exceed that 50 turns all the time. But in this run today, I'm not showcasing that kind of thing with the stun targets. I'm just trying to keep it simple for you guys. A1 for the damage, and yeah, pretty nice. Now overall stats here, we've got 47,000 HP, 4.1k defense, 172 speed, nice crit rate, nice crit damage, and we don't want accuracy because we don't want to place that heal reduction. We want to ramp it up with poisons. Stats here, we're just trying to go for like crit damage, crit rate, and getting those speeds where we can. And next up on the list, we've got Fahrakin the Fat, the world's biggest belly button, and the main reason for him is that ally attack, guys. It increases crit rate and crit damage buff on all allies except this champion for 3 turns, then all allies except this champion will attack one target enemy. Now, I want to speak about this champion because this can be the difference between 1 keying and 2 keying. And it's going to come down to accessories, which I don't have, unfortunately. I really wanted to showcase it, I just don't. But if you can get the refresh accessories on to proc more ally attack, this is going to be a simple 1 key. You can even go for like the counterattack masteries of multiple champions, and that's the kind of the thing that's going to tip you over in a run like this. But in this run today, we have got 4,000 attack, nice HP, nice defense, 177 speed, nice crit rate, decent, really nice crit damage actually, almost 300%. I didn't think you'd get that high, and enough accuracy to place our debuffs. Mainly for him is to coincide with the Helicath, right? He's got the weaken, we've got the drop defense here. We've got the HP burn and the poisons that our Vizier Ovelis is going to extend with that A1 ability, and also to extend the drop defense and weaken. We've then got the beatdown, of course. It's going to keep us topping up our damage. So that is all of the champions, all of the gears and the masteries. I will leave the whole speed tune in the description below as well. But let's just briefly talk about the presets and all of that good stuff and how to set this thing up. Let's get into it. Alright then, so this is the team setup page, and I'm just going to briefly talk about how to speed up your process on a day-to-day basis using a team like this. Now, we've got no presets on Helicath or Doompriest, but on Skullcrusher, we want to open up with that A1 ability. Fahrakin the Fat. It really comes down to your personal preference. For me, I like to open up with that burn to get extra ticks on that first cycle, and also for Vizier to extend it straight away from the jump. And then we want a first priority to beat down following this. Now, this is where if you got those refresh accessories and constantly getting this beat down out, it's going to be remarkable, guys. I really want to showcase it. I just physically can't. And Vizier, we're blocking off the A2 and the A3 and focusing on that A1 ability. Let's just go into the team now. So this team is kind of very similar to one of my OG comps. If you've been around the channel since I started, we did the Godseeker Aneri and the Sandlash Survivor with the Sepulchre Sentinels. And it's a very similar concept to that, right? We got the 4-to-3 ratio champion, we got some cleansers. Potentially you could bring in a block debuffs if you don't have a Doompriest, which would be perfectly fine for that stun turn. Yeah, just loads of ways you can kind of adjust this, is what I want to say. Don't just think, I haven't got this team, I can't do it. Vizier, replaceable. Fahrakin, replaceable. Doompriest, replaceable. And Skullcrusher, any other counterattack champion. If you don't have counterattack, throw in a Kreela or any other ally attack. Alright? So, let's just break this down here. So, this part here, pretty much we're going to have that block damage up. And it's going to be auto with those presets for this first turn. So, you don't have to worry about that. We're going to come through, place those drop defense and weakens. Amplify with the Vizier Ovelis. And then from here, this is where you want to take it off auto, okay? So you just want to do your A1s. You could do your ally attack or your burns. It really comes down to your preference. And then we're just going to do an A1 here. A1 with Vizier. And then you just want to do an A1 with Skullcrusher. And then you just click auto. Now we have got a speed tune with the Doompriest to cleanse all of the debuffs. And it's not going to be a problem. There is other ways where you can put the ally protection up before the stun turn and protect your stun target if you've got mid-game gear and you're just trying to survive the 50 turns. If you can get good defense on your Helicath, this will, 9 times out of 10, it'll go to like turn count 48 or 49 and sometimes 50. It just really comes down to the RNG and how much defense you've got on your Helicath, because there's no ally protection or anything on our stun target. So as I said, if you don't mind that, leave it how this speed tune is. If you want to protect him, put the ally protection on a turn early. But this way here, you're getting full use of the counterattacks, which is going to lead you to a very successful run. So what I'll do is I'll let you guys enjoy the rest of this run, and let's see where we can take it. Let's go. Alright then, so we are now on turn count 47 at 65 million damage in this 1-to-1, with the exception of the fortillery on Helicath, and he just got a newt. Now, having more defense on him and dropping off that damage that I put on him, you'll be able to survive those hits without a problem. I'm pretty sure of it. But we still got to that turn count 50, even though that he died, right? So we had a whopping 28 million damage on our Fahrakin the Fat. We had, if I just move myself out of the way, 10 million on Helicath. I really wanted to showcase his damage. If I upped his defense to like 5,000-6,000, there was no chance of him dying before turn count 50, especially with that shield up, because the shield is proportionate to how much defense you have. Doompriest came through with 8 million, pretty impressed by that, and 6 million on Skullcrusher, and Vizier Ovelis, with no debuffs, just Giant Slayer procs, exceeded 13 million. As I said, many ways you can change this, get creative, it's just kind of a structure that you can change yourselves. So that is going to be all for the video, guys. If you did enjoy it, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. It really does help out the channel. And feel free to join the Discord link if you have any questions, or maybe other options you might want to bring in and you just want to ask other members of the community before you make those changes. So I'll catch you guys on the next one, and peace.